Welcome to Bama-Q Live. I'm Daniel Moznett with Cowboy Charcoal, and we've got another hot one for you today. We are grilling some chicken wings. Who doesn't love great chicken wings? I'm going to show you a few tricks that help you get the absolute perfect, moist, juicy, tender chicken wings right off the grill. Now, there's a few folks that I've heard that don't grill their chicken wings. Well, this is going to make you a believer. Absolutely. Today, we are cooking over Cowboy Garlic and Onion Briquettes. I've done this before. You've seen this a couple of times. These briquettes are absolutely fantastic. Really imparts that garlic and onion flavor into the air. The aroma's going to permeate through all the meat that you're cooking. We're also going to add a little bit of cherry chunks. You can see these chunks. They're a little bit darker than a chunk like pecan. So that's going to help impart a little bit of that color into the food that we're cooking. We've got fantastic food to cook for you today. So first things first, let's talk about chicken and chicken wings. Here we have some chicken wings that we've marinated overnight. Now, we really are doing an osmosis brine. What does that mean? Okay, it's really simple. There's only 3 ingredients that you absolutely need for great chicken wings. The first is chicken, kind of obvious. Second is salt, and third is a brining solution. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your chicken, you're gonna put it in a bowl, Ziploc bag, however you wanna do it, and put your wings in, add your salt, add your brining solution. Today we used a couple of different things. We used Pelican Brewing Double India Pale Ale, really high flavor beer. We also used my son's favorite, Gianluca Giorgi, Virgil's root beer, all natural. This stuff is fantastic. It's really got a lot of flavor. And what that's going to do is through osmosis, the salt is going to pull the liquids out of the chicken and replace that with your brining solution. So if you use root beer, which has got a lot of flavor and it's got a lot of dark color that you can see here, the root beer's got a lot of dark color and it's already started to turn our chicken a little bit dark. You can see that we haven't even started cooking it yet, right? So that's gonna pull out all of the liquid in the chicken and replace that with that root beer flavor. The IPA, right? The Double IPA, that's what we marinated last night. That's this one here. That is going to pull out, you can see that, how's that, it's got a little bit dark already, right? We've got our chicken wing pieces here. I'm gonna show you how to make these pieces here in a second from the wings that you buy in the store. But first, these are gonna cook for about 7 minutes over indirect heat. Our indirect heat, we've got 2 zones. You can see my fire jumping up here. This is coming off the cherry wood chunks, right? So we've got a really hot left side. The right side isn't so bad. It's not so bad. It's warm, it's hot, but it's not as hot as this side. So we're gonna cook the chicken wings to start over indirect for about 7 minutes. Then we're gonna pull them over to this side to get them nice and crispy, okay? So let's put our chicken wings on now. Then I'll kind of reverse a little bit and show you how we got there, okay? So first we're gonna put our root beer chicken wings on, okay? We're just gonna layer them up, as many as you can fit. You can hear that sizzle going already. And then, like I said, we're gonna let these cook for about 7 minutes on each side. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna do of our first set. And you can keep doing these all day long. We're gonna add our IPA, Double IPA to this side, so we can kind of keep an idea on which wings are on the grill. All right, I think I'll cover and close the grill and let that cook for a little while we're making a few of our other ingredients. So a couple of things that you want to make sure you have when you grill your chicken wings. You've got to have something to dip it in, right? So we're going to dip with ranch. Some people like blue cheese, some people like ranch. It really depends. We're gonna go with ranch today. My son loves ranch, so he gets ranch. Okay, we'll let those sit there for a minute. These are on. We've got our IPA on the bottom. We've got our root beer up there on the top. We're gonna let that cook for about 7 minutes with the top closed. Then we're gonna start shuffling those over to the heat side and really pick up some of that crispy flavor. So to get to the chicken wing part, now you can buy wingettes and drumettes already done for you, or you can buy wings, the whole wing, and it's a really simple process. You just take that wing and you cut right through, right? So now you got your wing and your drumette, and you just cruise right through. It helps you save a couple bucks because this is a little bit less expensive when you buy the full wing all together. Wing, drumette, right there. And listen, if you don't want to go through this step of cutting, you can just cook it all together if you like. But I know a lot of people like the wing, just the wing portion, and a lot of people like the drumette portion. You can also see that there's a little bit of fat sometimes. You can just cut that off and just leave that right off to the side. Okay? So we're gonna keep going through, do a few of these. Sometimes you can go right through the bone. If you find the joint right in the middle, there's the joint right here. You can find that joint, you can just cut right through it. Okay? We're gonna keep going. We're gonna do this whole batch, and I'm gonna show you how to make the brine. Now, I've chosen root beer and beer, because those are a couple of my favorite things. You can use whatever you like. You can use a bourbon if you like. You can use just a salt water to help add a little bit more salt and water into your chicken wings. It takes a little pressure. Go ahead and push down. It's not gonna hurt you. I've got a nice Gunther Wilhelm chopper, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. Gunther Wilhelm has some just absolutely sharp knives, crazy sharp. Those have been my favorite knives to use. Okay, so now that those are cut and in, when you're working with chicken, you really want to make sure that you clean down, you use separate cutting boards, because you don't want to have any of that cross-contamination, okay? So now that we've got our chicken ready to go, we're going to add, let's start off with our root beer brine, okay? So we've got a root beer. I know my son just wants to drink this right now. He's sitting right over there. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a bunch of salt. You might think you're adding too much, but you're not, okay? It's all gonna cook off anyway. So you add your salt to both sides. Add your salt to both sides, okay? You're gonna mix this thoroughly, so don't worry about it. How we doing on our chicken behind us? You see that smoke coming through? Smoke smells fantastic. We've got our salt in. Now we're gonna add our root beer. The Virgil's handcrafted. This is really good, all natural, handcrafted root beer. Probably the best root beer on the market. Absolutely favorite. We just add that right over the top. That's it. That's the easiest way to get really juicy, perfect chicken wings right there. And then you're gonna let this sit overnight. You wanna go at least 4 hours. I recommend it overnight, because we want to make sure that you give it as much time as possible to bring all that root beer and all that flavor into the chicken. We've already salted this side. We're gonna add our Double India Pale Ale. I think I'm gonna leave that one for me. We'll add this side. We've got a smaller bowl, so it's probably all right. So we'll add the beer right over the top. Yeah, that tasted pretty good. Pelican Brewing out of the north coast of Oregon. Fantastic. All right, now this is it. You're done. Cover these, put them in a Ziploc bag if you want. If you don't want to put them in the bowls, and just put them in your refrigerator, let them sit overnight. That's all you have to do, okay? Now, we're gonna let those sit there. Oh, look at that smoke. Already, we've got a nice smoke rolling right over the top here. See, our color is looking pretty good. We can go ahead and give those a turn. They're already cooking pretty good. We'll go ahead and give these a turn. All of them. We may add a couple chunks right before we put them over, but I think we're doing pretty good. We've got a nice hot fire. So, you know, when you're using a ceramic grill, you can really go a long way with a little bit of briquettes, a little bit of charcoal, a little bit of chunks. You don't have to overdo it. Let your grill work for you. That's why you bought it. Now I'm doing this over a ceramic grill. You can do this in your Weber. You can do this you know, in a traditional kettle grill. You can do this on a pellet grill, anything you want. You just want to cook it indirectly. And indirect cooking is going to make sure that you don't overcook the outside and undercook the inside. You want to make sure that it's almost cooked before you put it over to the hottest side of the grill, okay? I think we're gonna leave this open and let some of those fires kick up a little bit. Now that that's cooking, I'm gonna take, this is optional. Derek Wolf created some fantastic rubs that are beer themed. This one is Honey Mustard IPA, which you hear that pop, just sounds just like a beer. We're gonna sprinkle just a little bit of that right over the top of the beer brine. And then over the top of the root beer, we're gonna use Jack Daniel's chicken rub. This is my favorite go-to rub. Now this step is completely optional. I'm just adding a little bit more flavor. Because while you're cooking, one of the main focuses is to make sure you layer your flavors. A little bit of flavor in the beginning, a little bit of flavor in the middle, a little bit of flavor at the end, and then you wanna have a nice dipping grilling sauce, something like that. And we're gonna show you how to make that. So we've got a nice even heat. We'll close this again, let that sit for about another 3 or 4 minutes. While that's sitting, I'm gonna show you how to make a ranch dipping sauce. You can use blue cheese, you can use ranch. There's a million recipes out there. Go ahead and find the one that you like. Okay, so we're gonna make a very simple ranch dipping sauce, okay? You can buy pre-bought ranch, you can buy blue cheese dipping sauce, any of those things that you want. This one's really easy to make. We're gonna start off with a little bit of mayonnaise, about a half a cup of each, so 1 part. Half a cup of mayonnaise, half a cup of sour cream, 1 part sour cream, half a cup of milk. You can use buttermilk if you like, okay? Those are our main ingredients. And we're gonna whisk those until they're nice and incorporated, okay? Nice and incorporated. Doesn't take too long. It's a little bit warm out here, so it goes a little bit faster. The main thing, when you're done with all your ingredients, you want to sit this in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. So this is something good to do and let sit overnight so you're ready for an event the next day. Next, we're gonna add our herbs. Traditionally, it's dill and maybe a little bit of oregano, some parsley or leeks. Really, it's whatever you like. I like a little bit of dill, I like a little bit of chives, and I like a little bit of parsley. We're gonna incorporate all of that together. Incorporate all that together. Remember, it's just flavor, guys. It's just flavor. Now we've got a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder, okay? I've got all these specific amounts for you, so don't worry about that. Then we're gonna mix that till it's well incorporated. You can usually smell it. Yeah, seems about right. I might want a little bit more of that garlic. A little bit more of that garlic flavor. Okay, you're gonna let that go a little bit longer. Mixed up. Okay, that's your sauce. It's a little thin right now because it needs to go in the refrigerator, but there's your ranch. Just a very classic, easy, simple ranch dipping sauce. Okay, if from here you could add some of your honey rub, you could add some of your Jack Daniel's chicken rub, right? Because we're gonna have those flavors going through our chicken wings. So it just brings your flavors, again, layered all the way through, right? Simple stuff, that's it. We have made a little bit overnight, so you can see how that sits up a little, it's a little bit more thick. All right, let's check on our wings here, guys, see where we're at. Look at that. We're getting there. You wanna make sure that you have a little bit of the bone pulling away prior to them coming off. That's how you're gonna know that they're really done. Another way to layer additional flavor is to take your hot sauce. I like Frank's Red Hot, and we're just gonna paint the top of our wings, right? Just gonna paint the top of the wings. And then we'll flip those over. I'm not gonna do all of them. Some people don't like too spicy. So we're just gonna do the beer flavored, the beer marinated wings. and I'll leave the root beer marinated wings without the hot sauce. Now guys, you can load this whole thing up if you want. You can load this whole thing up with wings. I love them. I could probably eat 10, 15 just in one sitting. Okay, let's roll these over. And we're about ready to put them over the hot side of the grill. Wings should take about 15 minutes. You know, raw, uncooked wings should take about 15 minutes, about 7 minutes on indirect heat, and about another 7 minutes on direct heat. And you'll very easily be able to know when they're ready. You'll see them. They'll start turning. Once these are all flipped, I'm gonna go back over and add some of our chicken rub, Jack Daniels, to the other side, so we make sure we season both sides. And then I'm gonna go back and make sure that we have a little hot sauce rubbed on all sides. So we'll add the hot sauce to this side. Just paint it, not too much. It doesn't take a lot to get that flavor to come through, especially when you're painting it and cooking it over indirect heat like this. Look at that, those look fantastic. Add a little chicken rub to the top portion here. One other trick we're gonna use is Mike's Red Hot. We're gonna add that once they start crisping up and grilling over the hot side of the grill. We're gonna add that and just get that nice, sticky, sweet, spicy glaze. Fantastic. Okay, while those are cooking, we're just about ready to switch those to the other side. Clean up our spot here. Yeah, I think we missed a couple spots with our Jack Daniel's seasoning, so we're just gonna hit that one more time. Okay, now we're getting there. I think we're almost ready to plate these. We're gonna add, just for color, we're gonna add some chopped parsley right on the top once we're done. Now you don't have to add chopped parsley if you don't want. I just like the color that it leaves on your presentation. Okay. All right, so let's get these rocking onto the hot side of the grill. Now these are cooking already. These were a little closer. Okay. So you may notice some that were a little further away, like these guys over here. So we might want to put those over the hottest part of the grill right off the bat, right to start. So take those outside ones, bring them in. And this is the part where you're gonna have to get active with the grill, and you're gonna have to make sure that you keep turning. Yes, this does make your grill a little dirty, but that's what it's for, right? You gotta cook a little bit. You gotta get things dirty if you're gonna make things taste good. Plenty of time to clean it later. Okay, hottest part of the grill, and here we go. I can smell those cherry chunks. They've now turned down to coals, and that's what you really want. You want the smoke right in the beginning. Let them get going, give them a little while. See, this one's got a little ways to go. You can tell by how soft it is, if you can see that. Squeeze in tightly. Right? That's got a little ways to go. So we're gonna move this to the hottest part of the grill. And then these will go for about another 7 minutes right here, just like that. The nice thing about chicken wings is you can hold these for quite a while. If you get your ice chest, you have a Pelican ice chest or any of those type of big coolers, if you have warm food and you put warm food in there to start, you can hold chicken wings for quite a while. And during game day, football, either Saturday or Sunday, it doesn't matter. I don't think anybody will turn down chicken wings. We're gonna close the top of that and let that go for a little bit. And while that's cooking, we'll talk a little bit about our chunks. So we've got our cherry chunks. We also have some of our pecan chunks, and I want to show you the difference of what these look like. And you can really see what it does to your food. You've got, see how much lighter in color these pecan chunks are compared to the cherry chunks that we have out here. And this dark color is really gonna do a lot to change the color of the food that you're cooking. So if you want something that has a little bit deeper, more rich looking color and flavor, you're gonna wanna go to a cherry chunk. If you want something that you just want to add a little bit of smoke flavor, but you don't want to overpower what you're cooking, if you're doing a fish or a pork or something like that, you might want to use something like a pecan or a hickory. Cherry and apple are for foods that can accept a little bit more. I love cherry and pork. That's probably one of my favorite. But if you mix them, if you add some pecan and cherry at the same time, you're really in for a treat, because we've got great flavors and great smoke flavors coming from both of those specific pieces of wood. And what we do at Cowboy is we make sure that we dry each piece, each chunk, all of the mini logs that you find, all of the wood for barbecue, we dry those so that you get a consistent piece of cooking material every single time. So whether you purchase some chunks in Louisiana or Kentucky or back in California, you know that you're gonna have the same cooking experience every single time. It's not gonna be a problem. Just make sure that you know how many you're using. Most cooks, probably 3 or 4 different chunks per cook. That's probably a good average. But if you like a little bit more smoke flavor, add more chunks. If you want a little bit less smoke flavor, add less chunks. It's completely up to you. All right, let's see where we're at here. You can see that we're already starting to bubble inside, right? We're starting to boil. That means that you've got a ton of liquid left inside your wings. And it also means that your osmosis process worked. Okay, let's flip a few of these and see where we're at. Oh, look at the color. That's the color that we want. Right there. Slippery little guys. We're getting great color, great crispiness. Just probably need about 4 more minutes or so, maybe 3. But you can see, if you take your time and you're patient, you can see that great color that comes out here. Let's see what these look like. Those look good. This guy's almost done here. You're gonna have some that are done a little sooner than some others. Typically your wing pieces are gonna be done a little sooner than your drumette pieces. So you can kind of move those over and put your drumettes a little closer to the hottest part of the fire. Don't worry if it takes you a little bit of time, it's fine. Looks like we're a little hotter over here. I'll move a few of these over to this side. Okay, while these are cooking, I told you we were gonna add a little bit of Mike's Hot Honey. So we do this right at about the last couple of minutes of the cook so that they can caramelize. We're just gonna add that right over the top. Look at that. It's okay if your fire picks up a little bit. That's just helping to add a little color and texture. Our wings are basically all cooked through at this point. All we're doing now is we're adding some crispiness. We're adding a little bit of color. We're adding a little bit of texture. This smells so good. I'm gonna flip these over again and add a little bit of that Mike's Hot Honey to the other side. Add just a little bit more honey right to the tops. Add a little bit more Jack right on the top of those. Make sure we get good flavor. Close this, let this cook for about another 35, 45 seconds or so. And that's really all you have to do for great chicken wings. To review a few important parts. Number one, make sure, especially when you're working with chicken, make sure that you have clean surfaces, that you're always wiping it down, that you're sanitizing your workspace prior to cooking the chicken. We want to make sure that you're not contaminating any of your cooking areas, so make sure you keep that clean. The other part is marinate and brine your chicken, turkey, any poultry. You want to make sure you brine those before you start cooking. Okay, at least overnight. Salt, brining solution, which is beer, root beer, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, any of those types of things. I like to add a little bit of bourbon and whiskey when I do my Thanksgiving turkey. That seems to taste pretty good for me. You can add oranges, lemons, peppercorns, herbs into that mixture, anything you want. Just make sure that you would want to drink that liquid, because the more flavor you put in the liquid, the more flavor you're going to get into the meat. Let that sit overnight, then throw it on an indirect heat source. Now you can do this in the oven if you want. You can do it on the grill. I prefer doing it on the grill because I like the smoky flavor. If you do it in the oven, you want to make sure that you cook them at about 300 degrees for probably the first 10 to 15 minutes, 350. And then as soon as they're cooked, then you want to jump up the temperature in your oven to 450 to 500 degrees so you get them nice and crispy. Out here on the grill, you want to cook them from about 7 to 10 minutes on indirect heat, and then another 7 to 10 minutes over direct heat until all of your chicken is cooked thoroughly and all the way through. Keep adding seasonings, keep adding flavors, continue to build your flavors all the way, and let's see where we're at. That's, I think, what we wanted to see. That's it, guys. We've got a ton of chicken wings here. Now, with everything that you cook, all the meat, whether you're cooking, I'm gonna put all the root beer on one side, whether you're cooking steaks, whether you're cooking chicken or fish, pork, make sure, please make sure, that you let your food rest. Resting is one of the most important things that you can do every time to make sure that your food looks and tastes the best. What does resting do? When you cook your food, when you cook your steaks or when you cook your meat, all of the juices go to the outside, right? So when you rest your meat, it allows those juices to come all the way back to the middle, and you'll get a much more moist, a much more flavorful piece of meat. So on the right side, we've got our IPA marinated. On the left side, we've got root beer. Sometimes you get them mixed up in the middle, but that's okay. Okay, and we're gonna take our chopped parsley, we're gonna just put that right over the top. Could add a little lemon, squeeze lemon right over the top. Lemon always brings flavors out. Okay, these are gonna be a little bit hot. They just came off the grill. Make sure you let your food sit so those juices can come back to the middle, but let's see what we did here. Those are juicy. Those are great. All right, I'm gonna eat this whole plate, everybody. I'm Daniel Moznett with Cowboy Charcoal. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.